As you can see, today I am planning to cast on my sweater. I like to knit sitting on the couch, and when I am on the couch, I always have a dog on my lap, and today is no exception. I tried to get her to sit next to me, but she wouldn't sit next to me. She insists on being in her place on my lap. So I hope that this will be a clear video, but I'm also keeping it real. None of the things that I make come without dog hair. So when I cast on, I go up, I hold that, I come around, go around, drop it, and that will give me 2 stitches, but I only count it as 1 stitch because when I join in the round, I'm going to lose this stitch. So I have 1 in, there we go, 2. I'll do it one more time in case anyone is actually watching this to learn how to cast on with the long tail cast on method. Go in, around, and through, just like that. Okay, now I've cast on all my stitches onto my knitting needles, and I am about to join it in the round. I do not know how to join it so that it doesn't make a jog when you're doing color work, but usually I just put that jog at the back when I'm making a hat. You take both pieces of yarn and you take that first cast on stitch, move it over to your right needle, and then you take the first stitch from the right hand needle, which is now looking like the second stitch, whoops, up and over that other stitch and drop it off, and there you go. And then usually what I will do is give it a little bit of a tug to tighten it up. Before you do that though, I should have mentioned that you have to make sure that all your stitches are in the same direction, that they're not twisted. I do know that Arne and Carlos have a video that shows how you can correct that after the first round. I have never tried to do it, but their video looked simple enough, you know, that way you don't have to tear out your work. But I usually just try to make sure that they're all facing inside when I make my join. I will carry both of these strands of yarn for about the first 4 stitches before I drop off the tail piece. Oh, and I have to get my stitch marker out. I tend to use my daughter's rubber band loom that has been abandoned, the rubber bands for those, but for the beginning of a round I use this silver marker. It came inside of an earring making kit, so that way I won't keep going and miss the beginning of the round. But yeah, the first round of knitting is usually the most difficult for me because I cast on so tightly. And remember, back in my first video, I told you that the very first time I tried knitting, I cast on so tightly I couldn't even get the needle through the next stitch. So there we go. I'm doing ribbing now. and I am going to drop off that strand of yarn before I keep going. I have been knitting as much as I could today. Obviously, you know, I have other things that I have to do, but I'm about halfway through, and I'm hoping that I will finish it this evening before I go to bed, and then tomorrow I can start the fun part, which is the actual pattern knitting. I do still have to decide which patterns I'm going to do. I decided to just cast on and see where it took me this morning.